What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV, back at it again with another one. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me, y'all. The big one. The big one's here this Sunday, baby. We got undefeated #1 South Carolina hosting number 11 Uconn, who comes in on a 3-game winning streak. Fresh off Coach Gino Auriemma, one of the GOATs of the game, racking up his 1,200 win, bro. We got to talk about it, y'all. This is a mega matchup between two of the most historic programs. The present superpower versus the past superpower. We got mad star power. These teams have matched up before, yes, but the rosters look completely different now. We getting all that full game breakdown and some praise from Don Staley about Paige Bueckers. Before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming weekly, daily, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
We know the knock on Uconn coming into this game. They don't have depth. They haven't beat a whole lot of good teams. When they've played on the biggest stages, they've come up short a few times. We know. They got Paige Bueckers, they got Aaliyah Edwards, but who else is going to step up to this juggernaut of a defense for South Carolina? Who's going to step up for Uconn? Who's going to make the plays? We know they've lost half their roster to injuries, but what can they do to stand a chance in this contest? Uconn comes in averaging 82.5 points per game, and they've been playing really good defense as of late. They've upped their scoring margin to 23.5, and they're only giving up 59 points per game. Now, where they need to really step it up is the three-point shooting if they're going to have a chance against South Carolina, because they don't exactly have the bigs or the depth to compete on the glass. There's not going to be a whole bunch of second-chance shots. So they need to make the three ball, man. They're shooting over 37% from the three right now. And I imagine this is going to be a game where we see them hoist a lot of threes, man. I do expect them to attack the basket, too, without Camila Cardoso. But I definitely expect the shooters to let it fly in this game. Looking at the breakdown, they have a well-balanced offense, too. They have multiple double-digit scores. Of course, the 1-2 punch, Paige Bueckers, averaging 20 points, 4.5 rebounds, almost 4 assists, leads the team in steals, averaging a block per game. She's playing the best defense she's played. She's scoring the basketball from all three levels. She's playing the forward spot at times. She's playing the point guard spot at times. She's lined up all over the court, man. And Paige Bueckers is the real deal. She's battle-tested. She's hungry. She's a dog. She's playing the best basketball of her career, potentially. She's on a hot streak right now. And she's just locked in like we have not seen in a long time, man, from a player. Like, she is 100% on go mode. And, man, this just feels like a redemption season for her. Yeah, UConn's lost basically half their roster to season-ending injuries. But Bueckers is steering the ship. And Coach Don Staley had some high praise for her.
There's no fat to Paige's game. Like, it's all lean. Like, everything that she does has a purpose. There's no wasted movements out there on the floor. So if you have some slippage defensively, she's gonna make you pay with her shot. She's gonna make you pay with her ability and vision. She's gonna make you pay with rebounding the basketball. She's that kind of player, just super well put together. And I do think she's put the work in to have the type of performances. Like, to have a guard to shoot 50, almost 50 from 3, 52, 53, 54 from the floor. Very, very dangerous.
On the other side, the other half of that 1-2 punch, you got Aaliyah Edwards, who has been playing bananas the last 5 games, man. She's on a tear. She's averaging over 17 points, almost 9 rebounds, and over 2 assists per game. Also, averaging 1.5 steals per game. She has to be major. And last time these teams matched up, she had a good game. And that was back when South Carolina had a little bit more size. But Aaliyah Edwards might be the key, man. She's skilled, she's big, she's physical. She can play bigger than she is at 6'3". She can bring these she can bring these South Carolina guards out from under the basket and really light it up from the mid range. She's got a nice shooting stroke, and it's been more consistent throughout the season. Leah Edwards is going to be massive. She's going to have to work to try to get players like Ashlyn Watkins, Chloe Kitts, Fagan, and company. She's going to have to work to get them in foul trouble. And that is how UConn evens the playing field. If they can wear down this front court and get them in foul trouble and find Edwards consistently and allow her to make plays and run that offense through the post, along with Paige Bueckers having a huge game, we know that backcourt of South Carolina is just tenacious on the defensive side of the basketball. So Bueckers and Edwards are going to have a lot of different players, I'm thinking, getting thrown at them, man. I think Don Staley's going to throw multiple looks at them, and they're going to have to adjust. But they've been the focal point of this offense. They've been the focal point of this team. They've been around. They're experienced. They've played in big games. They've built chemistry with each other. And they're both really steering the ship. But Edwards is going to be key. Her and Bueckers have to play big, or this game is going to get beyond ugly. It's going to be a complete blowout if these two do not come together and make plays. But just the competitive nature of Paige Bueckers, man, I do not see this. I don't know. I just know UConn's going to come in and fight. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come in and scrap. They are absolutely going to need their role players to step up. And we know that UConn is playing 4 freshmen, man. They got some young bucks out there, but Ashlyn Shade really finding her stride these last few games. She had 17 points in their last matchup. You also got to account for KK Arnold, who is a tenacious defender, can slash and can make shots, a playmaker for this group, running the point guard position, plays some off ball as well. They're going to need her to step up, man. Like, she's one of those players that has shown in flashes what she can do being Big East Freshman of the Year a few times. Like, they're going to need that performance out of her. Got to be strong with the basketball. And they really need Ashlyn Shea to make shots. Definitely need her to make shots. Being the third leading scorer on this team, they need her to make plays. Nika Mule is also a big time player that I think has to play really good at the point guard position. She's leading the team in assists right now with 6.3 assists per game. She's really good at getting others involved, finding these players in their sweet spots, making things easier for these other scorers to really get in rhythm. So she's got to be huge. She's got to be strong with the basketball. Now, potentially matching up with Tina Powell or Raven Johnson in that backcourt. They're going to pressure her. She's got to be strong with the basketball. She cannot be out there turning it over. She needs to try to control the tempo and get UConn in their offense. If they're getting transition buckets, she needs to be running that transition, making the right decision, and getting easy buckets. Because you need every easy bucket you can get against South Carolina and more. So they're going to need her to step up, man. I think that she could be an X factor at the point guard position just with her skill set, along with just her poise and the fact that, man, she has just been, Paige Bueckers was the point guard for this team for a while, and they really had to lock her in more on scoring, and Mule has done a fantastic job of running the show, to be honest with y'all. They need these guards to make plays. They need these guards to make shots, and they need to get the ball to Aaliyah Edwards. They got to compete on the glass as a team, though. Because we saw South Carolina, man, when Camilo Cardozo was out the last game against Mizzou, the whole team was rebounding. So they have to rebound as a unit. That is a must. They've got to box out. They've got to keep South Carolina off the glass, or it's going to be a long night, man. On the other side, we know South Carolina's working, man. They coming into this contest undefeated, the unanimous number one team in the nation, the deepest team in the nation. I mean, you playing 7-on-10 right now. Even without their lead scorer, rebounder, shot blocker, it didn't matter, man. They have killers all up and down this roster, y'all. It is insane right now. Like, come on. It could be anybody's night on any given night. You can't take away one player and disrupt this offense of South Carolina. It doesn't matter. I mean, Raven Johnson, Malaysia Fulwali coming off the bench, just going crazy in their last couple of games. One of the best freshmen, sauciest player in the nation. Like, you're not bringing a guard off the bench better than Malaysia Fulwali. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I don't care who you are. You're not bringing a guard off the bench better than her. Like, we just got to call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? Bree Hall out there doing her thing, shooting the rock, getting to the basket. She can go off whenever they need her to. She picks and chooses, it feels like. When they need her to go off, she makes big shots. You got Tahina Pau, who's one of the best three-point shooters, one of the best transfers, the point guard of this unit, the off guard of this unit. Her and Raven Johnson are interchangeable at this point. You got Raven Johnson, leading the nation with the assist to turnover ratio, controlling the tempo for this group. I mean, it is sensational what they can do with this backcourt, man. And then the front court, oh my goodness, don't even get me started, y'all. Don't even get me started on the front court, man. Chloe Kiss is out there getting off the dribble, stretching the floor, shooting the rock. Ashlyn Watkins, the most athletic player in the nation's out there catching bodies, dunking the basketball, man. Just blocking all types of shots, physical, long, and just agile, super uber athletic, man. She could be an X factor, especially if this South Carolina team gets to running and gunning and moving that rock. I'm telling y'all, man. Hey, I'm just saying UConn better strap up on D and come back and run and sprint back every possession, because South Carolina will run that rock down your throat if you are not careful, man. I'm telling you, just scores everywhere, man. You got Sanaya Fagan, 6'3" junior, coming off one of her best performances of the year, seeing extended minutes. Like, she's bringing a whole nother element with that size, that athletic ability that she has as well. Just being a physical post player, being able to get up and down the court. Man, I mean, it's just too much talent. We ain't even mentioned Tessa Johnson, like another shooter who can come in and play minutes at the point guard position or off ball. These parts are just interchangeable for South Carolina. And they've continued to dominate all year long, man. And they've been battle tested. And thus far, they've passed all the tests. But you look at it, one of the most balanced teams in the nation. You got multiple players averaging double-digit scoring. Kitts and Raven Johnson and Ashlyn Watkins are right there knocking on it for double digits, man. You have Fegan down there, Tessa Johnson. I mean, it's so much talent to deal with, so much firepower. You just don't see this, man. Then you got Ashlyn Watkins almost averaging 3 blocks per game. Off the bench? What are we talking about right now, y'all? I mean, this is insane just looking at the balance, the depth. Like, this 7 on 10 is gonna be tough. Because when South Carolina puts that other 5 in, there's really not a drop off. Right now they're averaging 80 points per game and holding teams to 51. They are beating teams by an average of 28.6 points per game, y'all. I mean, it is just blowout after blowout. They are running through the competition. Coach John Staley has his team locked in like never before. Last year, we saw the talent. We saw they had all the talent in the world last year. But this team this year, the focus, the determination, and playing this game in Columbia, I'm going to be honest, I don't see South Carolina losing this game. There's just no way. We got to call a spade, folks. I don't see South Carolina losing this game at all, man. Like, Paige Bueckers and Aaliyah Edwards would have to go for like 40 a piece. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 30 a piece. 30 balls at least, man. It's just too much firepower. That supporting cast. And it's crazy because it's like we really got robbed, man. If we're talking about this game at the beginning of the year, before all the injuries, this is probably a number 1 versus number 2 matchup and potentially a preview of the national championship. We're getting robbed not seeing a healthy Uconn. But at the same time, you got to play with what you got. And that's what they've been doing, man, since that loss to Notre Dame. Running through Big East play, number 1 in that conference, holding it down. The leaders, the star players are doing what they're supposed to do. So it's a complete different dynamic with these groups, man. Because if you take Paige Bueckers and Aaliyah Edwards away, UConn's done. You could take anybody away from South Carolina and they still gonna be rolling. It's just a culture. It's a really deep team. It's just a really deep team where they can continue to rotate and get those fresh legs down there. We saw them wear out LSU. LSU had their foot on neck for the whole game. South Carolina outlasted them though. Took every punch LSU threw, outlasted them, pushed through, and we saw it, man. They got the heart of a champion, man. This is championship DNA. They are locked in, man. I don't see it, y'all. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a double-digit loss. I mean, no shade to UConn, but it's just the firepower. They're not healthy. They're not 100%. They're playing a bunch of freshmen. And I'm telling you right now, them South Carolina upperclassmen will pressure them freshmen. They better be strong with the basketball. They better be strong with the basketball, or it's going to be turnover city. And we see what South Carolina does with those turnovers. They turn them into transition points in a hurry, in a blink of an eye. I mean, there's so much talent, so much just size, speed, athleticism. We keep talking about what the weakness is for this team. And I mean, we're 20 plus games into the season. I don't think we've seen it yet. They've been battle tested. They've had some scraps. And we know a team like South Carolina and with a high profile team and coach like Don Staley, they're going to get everybody's best shot on any given night. It does not matter who they're playing. They're going to get the best shot. And South Carolina has just taken everybody's best point to this point. And I just think that right now, it's just too tough. It's too much of an uphill battle, man. Coach Gino Ariama, one of the best ever. He's going to coach. He's going to have his team ready to play. They're going to fight. They're going to scrap. It's going to be a physical game. But that plays into South Carolina, man. Like, Edwards is going to have to get these bigs in foul trouble. She's going to have to attack them because it's too much depth. They got bodies after bodies after bodies. I mean, they can rotate 4 or 5 bigs. And that's not even including Cardoso. Like, they're missing their best player. And I know that's not saying much because UConn's missing, half of their rotation, probably over half of their starting lineup just about. So we know both teams are, not at full strength, not at 100%. But South Carolina, man, they didn't skip a beat without Cardoso against Mizzou. They did not skip a beat, y'all. I mean, they didn't skip a beat. We just seen Fagan, who everybody in the comments, y'all have been commenting. I've been seeing the comments. Coach Don Staley talked about it. They said that they were prepared for this and that Fagan was going to be ready for the moment with those additional minutes. And she came and she balled out, man. She balled out. And I think, even with more minutes, more reps, outside of Edwards, this UConn front court is very thin, like the thinnest of thin. So they're going to need her to play big, like these other bigs, like Chloe Kitts. You can't, you can't put Edwards on Chloe Kitts. She can't guard more than one player at a time. So either Chloe Kitts or Ashley Watkins or Fegan or like somebody's going to be getting a walker. Somebody's going to be in there getting busy. They better box out. They better rebound as a team. They better scrap. UConn better win those 50-50 balls. And they better hope South Carolina, struggles from three and just start slow. Because we've seen South Carolina start slow in a few games, but that second half, they come out swinging. I mean, they come out throwing haymakers. I don't know what Don and that coaching staff is saying to them in that halftime in that locker room, but South Carolina come out swinging in the second half. And they got Plies coming, the South Carolina super fan. You know what I'm saying? Award-winning rapper Plies in the building. You already know it's about to be teed up in Columbia. It's about to be up, y'all. I'm talking about packed, sold out crowd, fans bringing the noise. That's going to be a tough environment for South Carolina. And, I mean, I expect Paige Bueckers to perform. I expect her to have a good game. I expect her to really leave her fingerprints on this contest, man. She's a dog. She's a competitor. She's scrappy. She's a fighter. We've seen her. She's come back from multiple season-ending injuries and is still out here giving work. Paige Bueckers is that deal. She's coming to hoop, but she needs everybody else. Aaliyah Edwards, I believe she's gonna have a big game. They're gonna perform. They're gonna do their thing. But what is the rest of UConn gonna do, y'all? Know what South Carolina does. We know what they gonna do. They gonna try to suffocate you and wear you out and get those tired legs. They're gonna throw depth at you players in waves. They're gonna run. They're gonna push it. They can play in the half court if they need to, but it's just so many scoring threats, man. That's just too much for UConn. It's just too much, y'all. It's just too much. But we'll recap the game after, man. And we'll see, who's still standing. We'll see. It's going to be a good one, y'all. Y'all holler at me in the comments and let me know, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this game and these predictions. Holler at your boy. Let me know how y'all feel. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, hey, we out.